Factorisation. Well, as well as being able to remove brackets, we also need to be able to put brackets into expressions. This is called factorisation. Let's start by looking at an example. In our first one, we're going to factorise 9x plus 24. The first job is to look at the two terms we have here. The first term is 9x, the second term is 24, and find the highest common factor of the two terms. Well, with a little bit of thought, we should be able to see that the highest common factor for this problem is 3. 9x can be divided by 3 and 24 can be divided by 3. And so what we're going to do is take the 9x plus 24. You'll notice I'm using 3 lines quite a lot instead of the 2 lines we're used to for an equals. 3 lines actually means it's called an identity, and that means what I'm going to write down now is algebraically equivalent to what we started with. So I can rewrite 9x plus 24 by using the fact that 3 is the highest common factor as 3 times by 3x for the first term, that would give me the 9x, plus 3 times by 8 for the second term. 3 times by 8 of course is 24. The last job is simply to write this down now incorporating a bracket, and so I can write 3 brackets 3x plus 8, close the brackets. And a quick check on expansion would show that we'd get 3 times by 3x for the first term, plus 3 times by 8 for the second term, and hence we would get back to where we started, 9x plus 24. So we factorised. And in fact, it's always a good idea to expand mentally to check your answer. And there's one more check that we can do, and that's just check with the numbers or the terms inside the brackets that there are no further common factors. If there are, it meant that the original highest common factor that we chose in fact wasn't the highest common factor at all. If we're careful in our choice for highest common factor, this should never be a problem. Well, let's have a look at a series of other examples. So for my first one, I'm going to look at 12x minus 15. I've got 2 terms here, and I can see that each one of them can be divided by 3. So my highest common factor is 3. I'm now going to rewrite each term by using the fact that 3 is the highest common factor. So the first term could be written as 3 times by 4x, which would give me 12x, minus 3 times by 5, which would give me the minus 15. I can now write the final answer simply by putting a bracket in. A quick check by expanding gives me 3 times by 4x, which is my 12x, minus 3 times by 5, which is 15. For my next example, I'm going to look at 10x minus 25y. The highest common factor this time will be 5. So again, I rewrite each of the terms using this fact, and I can write the first term as 5 times by 2x, and then I can write minus 5 times by 5y for the second term. Using the brackets, I can write 5 parenthesis or brackets, 5 brackets, 2x minus 5y, close the brackets. Another example, 8a squared plus 12ab. The highest common factor this time is going to be a combination of a number and also a little algebra. So, numerically I can see that each of my 2 terms can be divided by 4, and I also notice that there are a's in each of the terms as well. The highest common factor this time is going to be 4a. Now let's write out the next step to see why that's the case. So the first term, 8a squared, could be written as 4a times by 2a, and for the second term we could write 4a times by 3b. Just have a quick check to make sure you're happy that that gives me 8a squared plus 12ab, and once you are happy then we can simply write the final answer again by using the brackets. Let's consider one final example. This time I'm going to have 14x squared w minus 21xw squared. Well, the highest common factor this time will be again a combination of a number and some letters. Each term can be divided by 7. Each term has some x's in it, and each term also has some w in it. My highest common factor this time will be 7xw. Let's write this out, as we did above, to see why this is the case. Well, the first term, 7xw, could be multiplied by 2x, and you should be able to see now that that would give me 14x squared w. For the second term, to give me the 21xw squared, I can see that that's 7xw times by 3w. Now do pause here if you need to, and have a good look to make sure you're happy with this stage, and once you are, we can write down the final answer, and the job is completed.